So last week, the Angry Birds movie finally came out, and the reception, particularly amongst critics, has been that it's better than it has any right to be. It's not great, but it's not bad. I think that's fair. It's a decent-ish movie. It's not anything groundbreaking. Doesn't aim to be. It's mostly just hour and a half, little more than filler, kind of entertaining. I think that's fair. There was, however, a large enough portion of critics that this wasn't just a weird coincidence that have said that the movie was bad because, and I'm slightly paraphrasing at this point, it is supporting an anti-immigration agenda within the movie itself. After reading that enough times in enough reviews to make it noticeable, I came to the realization that this basically proves why we can't have nice things. Really. An anti-immigration agenda in the Angry Birds movie. You do realize how conspiracy theory that sounds, right? Now look, I'm not against the idea of movies having allegories or alternate meanings in themselves. Zootopia, for example, it was, to some extent, about racism. Because they say it in the fucking movie. Speciesism in that one. This, however, makes no mention of it at all. This is other people's interpretation of that, which is kind of silly. Yes, people from different area come and take children. So that, and because one guy was saying, maybe we should ask what they're doing here, and then they go back and try and get their children back by doing what they did in the Angry Birds game, which is fire themselves at slingshots and blow shit up. That's an allegory for anti-immigration slash America go and bomb the shit out of them. Okay, sure. Let's. You know what this reminds me of? Back when the Muppets movie came out, the first one, and the villain was an oil tycoon or some sort of banker or something like that, there were a few people that were saying, oh, this movie is pushing an anti-capitalist agenda because the main villain is this rich guy. And you know what people did? They laughed at that. It was absolutely ridiculous that that was even an idea being put out. And people everywhere agreed, this is fucking stupid, you're out of your mind. But for some reason, this one with the Angry Birds, which is way more convoluted, by the way, that's reasonable. And yeah, that's what they were trying to do. Sure. You cannot think one without the other. I don't care what justification you use. I don't care what excuses you have. You cannot look at the Muppets movie and say that that idea was stupid, and then turn around and look at the Angry Birds movie and say, oh no, that one is completely real. This is, in a sense, a vacuum. One has to exist for the other to exist. Either they both are or they both aren't. I don't care how you justify it. This is absolutely ridiculous that we're even at this point. Again, I'm going to reference this. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. I remember a little bit of this kind of thing when Inside Out came out. and there were some people that were saying, oh well, they were upset because the uh, emotions that were in the main character's head were different characters and genders, etc. But in other people's heads, they were the exact same to be modeled after the person that they were inside of. And people thought, oh, this is trying to push some kind of message. And the director came out and said, no, we just did that because we wanted to make it easier on the audience so that they didn't misunderstand whose head they were in at the time. I think Pixar may have been undercrediting the audience intelligence a little bit, but that makes sense, and that was the first thing my mind jumped to when I saw that. Oh, they just did this to make it easier on people. Okay. Never once did I think that there was some sort of agenda being pushed or some sort of idea being made or anything like that. Same with the Angry Birds movie. Same with the Muppets movie. All of these, unless they explicitly say it in the movie, you're overthinking things, to put it lightly. It'd be laughable if it weren't so sad that this is the current state of reviews and for how people interpret movies in general. Same goes with video games, books, music, etc. This seems to be more and more common, and it's kind of sad. Please, just let that cigar be a cigar. That's all I'm asking. It's not that hard. Just I know I'm laughing that I'm saying this. Turn your brain off for a second and just enjoy the thing that's going on. You'd be a whole lot happier for it, I'm sure. This is the Math Machine, ironically telling people to stop thinking so hard. What a crazy world. Peace out.